Hello and welcome back. My name is Kira and this is SunLESS Skies and it's episode 22. So I found a floating parliament. So the ancient palace drifts through the void, a monument to British democracy and the greatness it believes it brought to the high wilderness. An elderly guard watches with suspicion as you dock but relaxes at the sight of fellow Londoners. Palace of Highminster, sorry. The Empress shipped the House of Parliament brick by brick from old London to the high wilderness to help her govern. Lovely. It didn't take long for her to grow weary of the questioning of her authority and have it severed from London. Parliament now drifts free in the distant corners of the sky. It continues to pass laws, but hardly anyone pays attention. Should we go to a welcoming party? Let's go! Smiling, nervous young people greet you as you disembark. Excuse us, the man in the yellow rosette calls. Excuse me, a moment of your time. A smiling man wearing a yellow rosette cuts in first. Captain, join our campaign to celebrate Albion and restore old school patriotism to the land by officially renaming Wednesday as Victoria's Day. Praise her renewed majesty for all she has. The smiling woman wearing green rosette effortlessly cuts in. For killing democracy? For our subjugation? No, Captain, we must make a stand for freedom. We must show the Empress that we will not just stand idle. Join us as we triumphantly rename her precious Victoria Sponge to the People's Cake. Jeez, they look at you with hungry expectancy. Vote in support of the Empress, or vote in opposition to the Empress, or just keep walking because it's a ridiculous waste of time. I'm tempted to say it's a freaking ridiculous waste of time because it feels like a ridiculous waste of time. They're arguing about something really, really stupid. And from what we've been told, no one's going to listen to any laws that they make anyway. But I'm going to go and vote in support of the Empress because that's what we've been doing so far. Consistency and all that. There's 2 scribbled down your answer. Thank you, says a man in the yellow rosette, and turns to his opposing number. 1 for me, a clear majority. Too bad that nobody's listening, mutters the woman in green rosette. The 2 disappear towards the Palace of Highminster, where no new laws have been made into the books in years. I'm advancing my parliamentary career. Great. Let's get a court report going, because that's always useful. While the palace is off limits to most, there is always ministers and civil servants whose busy schedules allow a moment for a free drink. You ask the obvious question, what's the point of Parliament when a renewed majesty never gives her assent to any of its proposed laws? They bristle, tyrants fall, democracy endures. Okay, cool. Explore the traitor's garden, shall we? The replanted gardens are a pleasant place to enjoy a walk. Though the buildings are out of bounds to casual visitors, the Empress's Gate is particularly fortified by a heavy chain and padlock too rusted to ever be unlocked. A few protesters are taking breaks to picnic on the lawn, away from the guards. Braver or more foolhardy ones sit on the aisle's edge, swinging their legs over the sky as they eat their sandwiches. It's near them that you spot this fellow in the suits, swaying uncertainly. His footsteps have taken him precariously towards the edge. Nobody seems to have noticed. Mr. Okay, so I can run over to help, which it says he looks like an MP, but even so. And the other says sit back and watch, because Mr. Darwin would no doubt approve. Survival of the fittest and all, but we're going to run over and help, just in case. He sees you coming. Startled, he steps back and with a drunken cry he's gone over the edge, and soon little but a dot in the swelling clouds of the wilderness. Uh-oh. A small army of civil servants soon swarms from the nearest gate, staring over the edge, agreeing that what appalling timing and manners the fellow had, and already arguing over whether the most appropriate memorial would be the bronze plaque on the bench or a new ficus somewhere within parliamentary halls. A tap of the shoulder distracts you, a tall clerk flanked by 2 clay men. Excuse us, he closes you up and down. Yes, very suitable. A moment of your time? Uh-oh. He sits at a huge mahogany desk in prestigious Downing corridor. Your conversation doesn't distract him from writing notes in the margins of endless pieces of paperwork. He pauses his scribbling only to sip from a large cup of stone-cold tea or to scratch his head with pen's long silver nib. Discuss business. He looks down his nose at you with grim expression of a headmaster waiting for an excuse to break out of his favorite birch rod. Right. Ah, the captain, a moment, do take a seat. Tea? Yeah, oh yes, I'll call for some tea. The loss of our dear minister for... He hesitates, covertly checking a file. Perjurance, yes, a tragedy, but we must move on. You seem just the sort I'm looking for, lucid, breathing. Have you considered a career in politics? He holds up a hand. No, I do not care about the history of affiliations. A bum in the chair will suffice. The Department of Albion Affairs would be a suitable starting point. If you're interested, I'll set the rules in motion. Right, I've been invited to become an MP. Great, fantastic. Ooh. So there's a House of Commons, Victoria Tower, House of Lords, and House of Commons, and I don't have any of those yet. But we can go and observe the people's perpetual protest. Please, I clicked on it. Please advance, thank you. Parliament has little power, but at least there is a chance it might listen. That is more than the protest can expect at the throne of ours. The protesters raise their voice with a spirit of camaraderie and united belief that words can still make the world a better place, with neither anger in their words nor violence in their demands. At 3 on the dot, a huge portcullis opens and the protesters are served tea, scones, and little cucumber sandwiches cut into triangles, a recognition of the protesters' ongoing services to this vital part of British democracy. Join the protest or ignore the protest? Well, we're going to ignore the protest because we've just been invited to become an MP. We're a bit special. Oh, I'm briefly without terror. Great. The crowd continues raging against whatever it disapproves of. You leave them to it and return to quieter, more civilized greenery of the main lawn. Lovely. Well, I think that's all we can do here, honestly. We've got enough supplies, and we don't actually need anything but the approved literature that we need to deliver to Clockwork Sun, where we don't know where that is, because that's brilliant. Apparently it's I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired. A long way to the north of London, so we are currently not anywhere near that, but we might go like meandering through here and then go to London, I think. And I'll let you know when something interesting happens. But in the meantime, I'll be flying along and listening to a few podcasts. Honestly, this game is perfect for that. See you soon! Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, so I was just looking for this Clockwork Sun. It said it was north of London. I'm pretty sure I'm actually going north because north is up, right? It's fine. It's fine. I can work out directions. But anyway, all of a sudden, I've come across something and it says, a weft of unraveling time. You have strayed into a place where the weave of time has frayed, the sky groans, the borders that separate past and future crumble, and your engine is dragged in. Allow yourself to be pulled into the weft, or command your crew to escape the weft. I only have 39% of chance. You know what? Let's go into the weft. You will not emerge unchanged. Great. The sky boils, the boiler rumbles, the chimney spune. You urge your locomotive forward into the churn of time. The present quivers, falters, and is torn away. The horological office in London may be able to tell you more about your encounter. Bloody fantastic. In the weft, past and future not like drooling pythons. Nothing is constant. Another age watches over your locomotive and everything changes. Be careful when you depart. Lovely. Escape a grim ending? Right. A cold future, your locomotive is silent, the engine is still, the coal stores empty. As you make your way to the bridge, you step over slumped corpses, pale in the fine coats of frost. On the navigator's table is a brittle map, charting a desperate course somewhere no one has any business. There's a corpse in the captain's chair too, you do not look. If you escape, you gain unlicensed chart and tale of terror while losing fuel and crew. No thank you, I'll remain the weft. Perhaps if you tolerate the current of presence a little longer or hide from it or pray, you'll pass. Perhaps another time will replace it. Perhaps you will like that time better. Time change. You only have to endure, and the chaos of the weft will sweep your current circumstances away. Another time gains dominance. You can feel its approach, roaring like a gathering tide. Oh no. Wait, the exact instant is known to you. You feel a thought of deja vu. Looking at the clock on the bridge, you watch its hand tick over to a familiar angle. This is the very moment before you encounter the weft. If you act now, you can escape. Yeah, again, only a sky story. I'm good with that. I don't really need to do something else. I mean, I know where it is now, so if we needed to do something else in here, then I'll do it next time. You spur your engine forward and emerge from the weft exactly at the moment you entered. You have lost nothing and gained nothing except for a story. That will do. Oh my god, that is awesome effect. Cool. But there was something else here that my stupid thingy pointed to. So I'm guessing that's the weft. I don't know what this is. Is this like a homestead? No, I need a saying. I don't have a saying. But I am looking for this town. Is it close to this weft of time? Because... Well, what is this? There's something moving. Is that the clockwork sun? Could be. It looks like a clock moving, doesn't it? Oh, this is awesome. Can I actually go through it here or not? I'd rather not risk that, eh? I don't know if that's a... I thought there was a port around here that I can go to. Azimuth. I guess I'll do the thing of like just skirting around the edge again until I can find a port looking thing. If there is a port to be found. I am noticing that the marauders and stuff here is really, really hard to fight. So I've just been running away like crazy because I am too scared to fight them because I'm a chicken. So I do really need to upgrade my ship, I think, and my guns, but I don't have that yet. Wait, that's a port. That's a port. That's a port! This is a clockwork sun. Well done, me. I've actually found a location. I'm very pleased with myself. There you go. Sunspur. The dock is rarely used and maintenance has lapsed. There's evidence of rust and metal and strain, but only of non-crucial components. It's safe to stop for now. Once inside the dock, the sun's scarring light is diminished. Arrival at the sun. An outpost on the roaring edge of the sun, shielded from the malevolent light by an eggshell of stained glass. As you emerge from your train, suit-swaddled engineers gather up, plainly astonished by your arrival. They bombard you with complex questions about how you dealt with the dense sunlight and skewed chronosolar fields. Once satisfied, they hand out protective suits to you and your crew. Yours is patched and torn, one boot missing. Shrug into your suit. An engineer sprays you with a substance that smells like lemon gone wrong and searches your pockets, a cursory effort at best. They seem distracted. Sunlight sips like syrup through the cracks in the stained glass ceiling. The floor shudders in time with the churning machinery far beneath your feet. The air has a tang of chemicals, bonfire, and rain. Pistons pump, cogs turn, and sweet swaddled figures tend to the enginery. Enginery? Whatever. Bellowing over the shrieking metal. Let's write a report. The clockwork sun is a preeminent symbol of the Empire's heavenly dominion. The newspapers in London call it enduring, everlasting, eternal, the heart of the Empire. In response to your questions, the engineers shrug. The day dawns, the sun brightens, the night comes, the sun dims. What more is there to say? Some of them seem so exhausted they can barely stand. They insist it's a proximity to the sun that affects their sleep. Well, there you go. Head towards a sundial-shaped building. Let's do that. Oh. Azimuth is an enormous sundial without a shadow. Its roof topped by a golden shark fin gnomon. There are still racks of yellowed pamphlets on the walls. It once served as a kiosk selling tickets to sunspotters, the pilgrims and tourists that were expected to flock here. These days it's more like a temple. Frescoes on the curved walls depict the triumph of the new sun over the old. Okay. Ask the Dazzle sequence about his role in the sun? Sure. I'm a priest of the new sequence, declares the sequencer. The brightest truth, the wildfire has swept Albion. He points at the expanse of the sun. There burns a beacon, a savior, an aspect of God. We venerate the clockwork sun and its immortal architect, our empress. I'm here to greet pilgrims and safeguard the souls of our engineers. Azimuth is also the only access route to the sun's shattered dome, an exhibition hall that was built back when we received more visitors. The dome is terribly dangerous and I advise you to avoid it no matter how much you hear about these priceless artifacts inside. Well, request access. I need Terra and I need crew and I can only do it in like certain times. Okay. Reluctant assent. The sequencer obviously takes his role as gatekeeper seriously. He fusses around you, checking you and your crew's gear, tugging on straps, checking for rips, wiping your stained glass goggles with a silk handkerchief. All the while he sprouts endless streams of warnings. Don't enter the Shalimar, never travel in a group of 3 or fewer, and resist the urge to sing no matter how fiercely your throat burns. And for the sequencer's sake, watch the condition of your suit. With that he pats you on the back, hands you a brochure, and sends you through the heavy iron doors of the dome. Lovely. Exhibition halls built to accommodate sunspotted tourists and sequence pilgrims, and abandoned after the danger of the sun became impossible to hide. Priceless paintings hang on the bleached rags. Magnificent relics have been left to accumulate glittering glass dust. Is anything still intact? The stained glass sky has collapsed, and unfiltered sunlight gnaws savagely at your hazardous suit. It is currently undamaged, though a little shabby. Soon you stumble upon the gleaming forest of glass sculptures. As you get closer, you realize that they were once tourists from back when the exhibition was still open to public. What were they clustered around? Oh god. Search elsewhere, I guess, because we only have 70% of chance of success, so we must go search elsewhere. Okay, explore the challenge. We've got 40% of chance of success. Let's try that. Failure! Of course, failure. I've lost 1 crew, gained 5 thing. Acid roses, predatory daffodils, snapping tulips with lamprey mouths. Specimens that might be found at a street florist, but bone white and deadly. All attempts to hack through the jungle of flowers are rebuffed. One of your crew is overcome, tethered by a dozen thorn vines, and dragged shrieking into a hungry flower bed. The rest of your crew retreat and refuse to go near the Shalimar again. Understandable? Let's search elsewhere again. Investigate the carousel. Partial success. Brushing aside glitter dust, you discover a label on the carousel's base. Tempest Prognosticator. Each bottle is similarly labeled Philosopher. Something roils through the glass. After studying the carousel's controls, you think you have some idea of how to set it in motion, but not how to stop it. Take one of the Philosopher bottles, I think. The release mechanism proves stubborn, but you figure them out eventually, and the huge bottle slides free. It takes the strength of one of your entire crew to roll it back to the azimuth. Lovely. I have 1 cage catch. I don't know what I'm going to do with this cage catch, but I have 1 cage catch. Search elsewhere. Search elsewhere. Search elsewhere. I don't really want to do Shalimar. There's only 40. Oh, fine. I'll do it again. Success this time. Yay. After much sweat and panic, you come upon one of Shalimar's treasures hidden in a tangle of pale weeds. An oyster shell encrusted with diamonds. The vegetation has already reclaimed the path behind you. Sighing, you order your crew to resume their work. We got 250 sovereigns out of that. Great. Let's return. Your suit is in rags. Your crew are panicking. Disaster. Life floods you, and sickening sense of peace that must be fought with every fiber. Something glass cracks inside your head. a tumult, a stampede. Your crew run, shoving in their haste. Someone falls. It's only when you arrive back in Azimuth and conduct a head count that you realize that one of your crew has been left behind. In the dome beyond, you hear the familiar voice raised in rapturous song. Okay. So I guess it drives them insane. The sequencer has a request. Okay, there you go. There are many poor souls out there in need of our help. Beleaguered, ignorant messes. I never meet them, but I am assured they exist. He pauses to wipe his eyes. When we lift them from their contemptible state, perhaps they'll come to appreciate the greatness of the sequence. He sends an orderly to fetch an wooden crate. Once it's set down before him, reps the lid proudly. 600 manuals on how to correctly tie a bow tie. Deliver these to Brazen Work World, and I'm sure they will be immensely benefited by the improved understanding of etiquette. Really? I don't think they're wearing bow ties over in Work World, but sure. Visit the glass house, I guess? The glass house. An isolated section in the abandoned exhibition halls have been repurposed to hold not treasure but prisoners. Each wears a grey smock rather than a protective suit, leaving them utterly undefended from the ravages of sunlight. They sit slumped in unlocked cells, making no effort to escape. Where would they go? Some of the prisoners are shining at the seams, some have their eyes of curdled glass. A fractured face turns to watch you. A few are singing in praise of the sun, mouths bloody and throats tattered. You should perhaps be horrified, but the song rests tender chords around your mind and numbs you. Glass crunches underfoot. When you lift your boot, you discover a cracked ear beneath. Speak with the prisoners. Sure. Failure. Oops. Screams and song. You sit beside a wild-beard prisoner whose entire lower body has turned to glass, fixing him forever in cross-legged pose. One crystalline hand, vitrified at the wrist, has been fixed to his knee. He mumbles half-coherent account of what he's seen happen to his fellow prisoners and what he fears will happen to him. Before he can conclude his story, he breaks into song, a high note coinciding with the pulses of sudden bright sunlight. Okay. Approach the half-glass empty? Okay. Only one cell is locked, and the man within is neither singing nor screaming. The left half of his body is shimmering translucent. Only the flesh and muscle in his left half is vitrified, not the bones and blood within. The glass is suffused with 1,000 fine frozen capillaries, like delicate red cracks running through the ice. He fixes you an anguished stare. Get me out of here. Why is cell locked and he's alone? The others would not leave even if they could. Their minds are lost. The empty attempt a one-sided shrug, and well, the Empire sent me here because I was smuggling sunlight from beneath, back before the horizon closed. When I sold it, I told my customers that the light from the clockwork sun was toxic and true sunlight was the only cure. Ended up causing a minor panic in London. I think one of the engineers locked me in because he took offense at my criticism, though he gestures at his vitrified body. I stand by it. Okay. Are we going to help him escape or not? Let's help him escape. Agreed to help the empty escape. A barely perceptible nod, the glass in his neck creaks. Thank you, his voice is hoarse as he speaks in a barely whisper. You'll need to find a permit for my release and present it to the steward. Forged legitimate, I do not care. Alright, I need to give it to the steward. I don't know where the steward is, but alright, cool. Let's leave and descend to the Terpsichore vault. The Terpsichore vault. Beneath the machine-bristling surface, you find a ring of 9 vault doors, each engraved with the name of a classical muse. 8 are locked and barred behind signs saying things like vacant or under renovation, or in one case, unfortunate chronological discrepancies. The 9th, marked Terpsichore, is the only door open to you. When you enter, your footsteps ring through the dusty barracks and abandoned canteens. These are the engineers' quarters, but they're all on the surface working except one. The broken steward has been working on the sun since its first shone. She has been here far, far longer than any of the engineers above. Speak with them, I guess. I don't have 3 of the permits, I only have 2, so I can't free the guy or whatever. Speak with the broken steward. She catches you glancing at her mouth and smiles even wider. Her teeth are shards of cracked glass, protruding at odd angles from her gums. It's not just the taste, she says, with a brusque air that brooks no sympathy. Damn sun turned my bones as well. Terrible nuisance, really. It gets in the way of work. You notice a fixed neck, her stiff limbs, her careful movements. It's not too bad, she says. Good thing I like soup. Oh god, that's horrible. Yeah, I've already spoken to him. We got nothing out of it. Yeah. Nothing else we can do. Oh god, game, please don't freeze. Alright, so let's go to the bazaar where we could hand in our 5 literature things. Gained 1 Vision of Heaven, 150 experience points, and Strength of the Sun. And they've got munitions, which I do need to hand it into back in London, so I'll take that. I was hoping they would have these glasses, because they've, they do have paint glasses, never mind. I can buy 5 of them and take to Walbury. Walbury Juxtamare. I think I know where that is. I think we've been there. So I'll take 5 of those. Thank you. This is going well. I feel like I'm making, progress in our new world. I've lost some crew, but, shit happens. So I'll leave here. And then try to make my way to... I'll stop by London. And then go to... I think this is Walbury. Yes, that's Walbury. So I'll go back to London and then go to Walbury. And then try to go straight so that I can kind of clear up this area a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I do apologize that I'm not as bubbly as usual because I am very tired. I've had a very tiring week, but I did want to play SunLESS Skies. And since I'm playing, I might just record, so I'm sorry I'm not as enthusiastic as I normally am. I'll try to be a little bit happier in the next episode, because I'll probably continue playing, because I can't sleep anymore. I slept like 20 hours. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Mwah!